All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back to episode 2 of Nearly 90's. We're your hosts, Jonah and Bryce.
What's up? Okay, so I figured I could give us a little bit of a rundown of what we're doing tonight, so we kind of just know what we're going through. And I mean, maybe if we're feeling it up to it, we could add time codes in the description for everything.
I mean, yeah, we could do something like that for sure.
But yeah, so we have a little bit of news. We got Werewolf by Night trailer and a Secret Invasions trailer that we're going to be talking about.
Yeah, that we just watched, by the way.
Yes, this is my first time watching. Was this your first time watching it as well?
Oh, technically it wasn't my first time watching it, but it was your first time watching it.
I honestly didn't even know these were released. Like, I'm always on Instagram with like a bunch of Marvel. I'm following so many Marvel things, so I don't know why I didn't see it.
Yeah, I don't know how that like slipped under the radar because I just saw it randomly on YouTube one day and it was like posted a week ago when I saw it. And I'm like, how is that not huge? Like, everything Marvel is huge when it comes out,
right? And usually that stuff comes up in my feed on YouTube as well.
Yeah, it was weird though. But anyways, you watched them finally, and we got some stuff to talk about them. They're very interesting, to say the least. Very different.
Honestly, all right. I guess between the two trailers we just watched, which one are you more excited for?
I think by initial first glance, Werewolf by Night, but I think that Secret Invasion, if they really get bold and do something interesting with the story, I think it'll be better. Mm-hmm. If they play it really close to the chest with the whole Skrull thing and it's not like that interesting who is Skrulls, then I think it'll be the lesser show. Mm-hmm. But if they really like go for something like really bold of like some characters you really didn't think were Skrulls, then I think it'll be the better show.
Yeah, honestly, like looking at both of them right now, I like that Werewolf by Night is doing the whole like, oh, let's bring it back to the Dracula age of doing like black and white movies, which I guess adds to like, you know, you can make the movie a little bit cheaper. But I think I'm a little bit more excited for Secret Invasion just because, honestly, it just looks a little bit more intense.
Yeah, it feels like a real thriller.
Honestly, yeah. I have a couple of notes that I have for Werewolf by Night, so we might as well just jump into that. Werewolf by Night, I honestly have no expectations. I didn't even know who Werewolf by Night was.
I mean, he's a werewolf.
Yeah, you look up the Wikipedia on it, and it's pretty much he's just a werewolf with werewolf powers. So I don't know how interesting the comics are for that, but hopefully they're interesting. But yeah, I guess the most I'm excited for is I didn't even see it on first time watching the trailer, but Man-Thing. I'm pretty excited to see that.
Yeah, it's cool. It looks like they're going for almost for Werewolf by Night. I'm not sure what the exact time period is, but from the trailer, my impression of it is that they're doing like the whole The Most Dangerous Game type story where it's like they're having people hunt certain monsters that exist in the Marvel universe during that time period.
Yeah.
Because it looks like there was like a bunch of mazes, and the one that Man-Thing was in almost looked like it was like a one of those like hedge mazes. So it could be like the whole like he's infused in the maze, like the nature of it while he's like killing like opponents or just however the game's played.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I did you get any like I don't know what the story is from the trailer, honestly.
I don't know if the guy who is like the werewolf, I don't know if he's aware or willing in the game that he's playing, but from the looks of it, like I said, it just looks like it's like some deathmatch game of like pompous rich people up against monsters.
I really hope that's not like the whole story though. You know, I hope they add a little bit of like character development, you know, a little bit of something underneath the plot or like, you know, the story itself.
There was one moment in the trailer where it looked like there were like almost modern looking soldiers getting killed though. Yeah. And I don't know if they're doing, I don't know if it's meant to be deceptive thinking that it's older, but it's actually in the modern day because the black and white and what the like rich looking people are wearing. And then maybe it is taking place in the modern day. We just don't know it. Or maybe there's a time jump. I don't know if werewolves are immortal in the Marvel universe. Maybe they are.
I'm wondering if they actually took this idea from WandaVision. Because, like, in WandaVision, they did the whole, like, all right, this is a 60s style TV show or whatever, you know, this is the 90s shows. So I feel like maybe they're like, all right, let's just take one specific style or, like, era. Let's just work on that.
Yeah.
So I think that's an interesting approach to it as well.
Yeah, I mean, I like how it's at least trying to do a different vibe, something new. One thing that is interesting that you didn't get from the trailers, and I'm pretty sure you don't know this, was that initially I think Disney Plus had it marked down as a comedy, but recently they changed it to horror.
Really?
On their streaming service, like on their upcoming streaming shows or whatever, there's like descriptions and categories for it. Originally it was comedy, and it might have just been the backlash of people saying, because everyone's been saying like, we're tired of the family comedy crap from Marvel. And I don't know if they just changed the name because just to get away from that kind of negative feedback, or if it genuinely isn't really much of a comedy, but they still put it there because there might, I mean, it's Marvel, they're still going to have jokes.
Right.
But maybe it is more horror, and they saw that people really didn't respond well to the comedy, and they're like, yes, don't worry, this is horror.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely think there will be comedy elements in this, no doubt, because that's just what Marvel does. And even, I think most movies kind of do that a little bit, where they like, you have to lighten the mood in a dramatic piece sometimes.
I mean, even certain parts of the trailer, there were campy, funny-looking moments in it, which I don't know if it stuck the landing even in the trailer, but it's Marvel. It's going to happen. There's going to be humor.
Right. So, I mean, what if this is actually just a complete 180 and it's just a comedy?
I'm wondering, too, if they're using the black and white to hide the goriness of it, to get around, like, so Marvel can kind of dip their toes into rated R without showing gore, the actual really red cool. gore. Because, like I said, that scene where you see like a short clip of like the military, I don't know, like the soldiers looking characters that they're fighting someone, like they're getting gutted from what it looks like. They're getting mauled. Yeah. Like, and it doesn't look like they're holding back on like the imagery of it. True. So I can imagine. I don't know why censorship is like this. I mean, it was a big thing on YouTube the last couple of years where you couldn't show straight up colored blood in like videos. Like Mortal Kombat 11 came out, and people were getting their videos taken down left and right because of the gore of the fatalities and stuff. That's crazy. So during those moments in the game, they would censor it to be black and white in the edits of their videos and to not get their videos taken down. And that's kind of how media is too. Like, as long as like the red gore, like the colored gore is not visible as like red gore, it can pass. I don't know why censorship laws and rules are like that. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, that kind of makes sense. I've dealt with some of that censorship before on YouTube. So yeah, one of my raunchy reviews got taken down, The Boondock Saints, because I had that movie's blood and guts all over, man. So no reason that one was partially blocked, but all right. Yeah, I think that's kind of all we have for Werewolf by Night. I'm interested to see where it goes, I guess.
Yeah, and then there's Secret Invasion.
Secret Invasion. We got Sam L. Jackson with a big ass beard. I fucking love it, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's going to be something really interesting. Again, if they be bold with it, if they really hold back and only be the Skrull characters, be really minor, insignificant characters, right? Or something along the lines of like, I want to see Skrulls that have secretly been a character for years, not like, oh, like Skrulls just now started infiltrating and now we have to figure out who they are. Like, I want actual plot twists.
Yeah. So what I guess was kind of a little bit put down by was the amount of heroes that we didn't see yet.
I don't think there's going to be a lot of hero stuff in it, honestly.
Which is kind of not leading me to my next point, but like when I was watching it, I was like, man, is this just going to be like dark Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
It kind of feels like they're going for like a noir Bond thriller in a way, with obviously the sci-fi element thrown in it. But I think it's a better way to utilize side characters as opposed to what was the one show that they're trying to get like Damage Control turned into like its own comedy show of just like side characters that don't have powers just living in the Marvel universe. I'm like, that's so stupid.
Right.
Like you can utilize the side characters in a much better way. And I think like making all the agent style characters be part of Secret Invasion is a much better way of doing it.
I think so, but I would like to see like at least some cameos from superheroes. Cause
Yeah, like I don't want to just keep him out. And there's Rhodes in it. You don't know if he's gonna suit up.
Oh yeah, I completely that sidewide me. Went right over my head.
I mean, he doesn't show like him wearing the suit obviously in the trailer, but I mean he could suit up at some point, or a Skrull could be in his suit at some point.
Do you think? All right, should we go into who do we think the Skrulls are?
Yeah, I think we should.
All right. Hands down, I think Rhodey's going to be a Skrull.
I wouldn't be that surprised, honestly, if they went Rhodes.
Like, he's one of the main guys. He's been there since the second Iron Man movie. I think he's like... And, wait, they could bring this into the Terrence Howard
I knew you were going to say that.
it like shot into my head. I'm like, oh man, perfect.
Okay. I'm going to bring this in a different direction real quick before we get back to the Skrulls. Everyone always says like, oh, Terrence Howard left because they offered him a significant pay cut for Iron Man 2, which they did. But also, Terrence Howard is a psychopath.
Is he?
Have you ever heard of Teriology?
No.
He made his own like, I don't know if you'd call it religion. I think of it more of like a... I guess you could call it a religion, but I consider it in the way of like Buddhism being a religion, where it's more like a lifestyle and way of life as opposed to like worshiping a higher power. But like, I think it was, he believed that 2 + 2 doesn't equal 4 or something. There's some quote from Terrence Howard that says where he genuinely believes that 2 + 2 doesn't equal 4.
The fact that he can comprehend that amazes me, because my brain has trouble just wrapping around someone trying to believe that's a fact.
I'll have to like look into this a little bit deeper. Maybe I can bring that up as a later topic, because I'd want to get deeper into Teriology, but I can't say that I know like everything of the lore. Right?
I mean, this is news to me, and I freaking love it.
It's kind of like the same way where everyone's like, Edward Norton was so much better as Hulk. And I'm like, true, but do you really think anyone wanted to deal with Edward Norton for a full franchise?
No. Yeah, that's why they booted him.
Yeah, well. Anyways, we can get back to the Skrulls.
All right. So we think Rhodey might be a Skrull. Who else? I mean, they already technically made... What's her name? Hill? Agent Hill? Maria Hill. I think she could definitely be one, since they kind of did that at the end of No Way Home.
There's got to be at least a few minor characters as Skrulls. I feel like there's going to be a few minor characters as Skrulls, and then at best 1 to 2 major characters as Skrulls.
I definitely think Bilbo Baggins is going to be a Skrull. What's the actor's name?
I don't even know.
We'll just refer to him as Bilbo Baggins.
Mr. Baggins, yes. The Baggins is.
So yeah, I definitely think he could be one too, because, I mean, he showed up late in the game, and he did show up kind of around the same time as the Skrulls were introduced too, so.
I'm just trying to think who of the major characters is left that could be a Skrull that would really, like, not really destroy the story. In a way. And also the motivation of why they would be a Skrull for that long.
I think it would be really cool if they did something like in Avengers Earth Mightiest Heroes, where it was revealed that most of the superheroes were Skrulls at this point. You know, like just out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And like Captain America was like kind of the reveal of that. I mean, they can't do that now, but I mean, like, if they did it to like, I guess they could technically do that with Falcon, where like it's Falcon in the Captain America suit.
Bucky could be a Skrull.
I mean, he could, but
wait, but he's not in. Again, I don't. You know, I have to look up a cast list of like who's going to be in this.
I think that would be. I'm going to do that right now. We can cut any time out of this right now.
It's got maybe Florence Pugh, someone from the Thunderbolts. You've seen the Thunderbolts thing, right? They showed who's all going to be in it. Not all who's going to be in it. I feel like there's still going to be more, but they showed a lot of the members that are in it.
I feel like you've talked about it before, but like not in detail.
We've talked about it, but like literally the day after we recorded podcast episode 1, they showed like a screenshot of most of the team.
It was. All right, so Amelia Clark, Samuel L. Jackson, Ben Mendelsohn.
Mendelsohn's the good Skrull from Captain Marvel.
Yep. So Martin Freeman, that's his name, is Bilbo Baggins. Honestly, it doesn't look like there's gonna be like any big guys except for Don Cheadle.
Because if they're only showing Don Cheadle as the main Avenger type character in the show, I feel like it's just gonna be him as the big plot twist.
So there's Colby Smulders,
or maybe Nick Fury's been dead for years and he's just a Skrull.
Honestly, I don't see anyone else in here. I mean, you can scroll through. Maybe there's someone that's there and that puts on heavy makeup, but
I like Tony McCarthy's picture in IMDb because he has like a highbrow filter on.
Oh, why? Oh, that's good shit, though. He's Alien uncredited, episode 1.
Yeah, well, that kind of makes it hard to depict then who's going to be a Skrull, because I don't want it to just be like boring humanoid characters.
Yeah, and that's what I'm not scared of, but I would like them to have some sort of superheroes in this, you know?
Yeah.
Like, they could just be swinging by or something like that, or just flying by for a quick couple seconds, say a couple lines. That's the scene. I think it would just add to the story, because then, you could then be like, oh, is he a Skrull? Is he a Skrull? Is that person a Skrull? It kind of just adds to that factor, I feel.
Yeah, I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess it's time to move on to Red Hulk Recast.
Yeah, so apparently people online want to recast Red Hulk, and it's trending.
I find that ridiculous, but I mean, has there been any cool fan casts so far?
So the one that's floating around a lot, and I don't see why, but it's Harrison Ford.
I don't think he would do it.
I don't know if he would do it, and even then, aren't you taking the same risk that he's just going to croak at any moment, just like the last actor? Harrison Ford's getting really old.
I think it would be smart to like maybe just introduce the son of Thunderbolt Ross, something like that.
Yeah, or just the theory that people have been saying, just make him Red Hulk and keep him Red Hulk.
Like, I think that's kind of the move, honestly.
And I know you brought up Clint Eastwood.
Listen, I was just...
Speaking of getting old.
Just out of nowhere, I was like, he's a really old guy. Clint Eastwood would be perfect.
He's just like in Red Hulk form, like ask him if they feel lucky. He does like the little eyebrow twitch thing.
Imagine him. I imagine him as Red Hulk, but he'd just be skinny still.
Yeah, they just painted Clint Eastwood red, and they did like the whole like green screen trick where he looks tall.
What if he turned into a taller man?
Just the red mule.
Good. Yeah, I mean, it would be horrible. He'd probably act his heart out until he croaked, but I mean, I don't find a reason. I think the best way to go is just keep him as Red Hulk all the time.
It seems like it might be the best way to do it, honestly, because when you're recasting him, when you break it down, it's gonna have to be an older actor playing him if you're casting someone as the human version, because Ross is older.
Right.
He's so old he has white hair. And whoever they cast is going to be an older gentleman, which might, health reasons, might pass away at any moment.
Right. So it's kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah.
So I think that's I think that's best. I think that's all we got to talk about there.
Yeah, that was a quick little topic.
And now our kind of... All right. So now the next topic that we're going to be going over is Pirates of the Caribbean. So I know we're kind of jumping all over the place a little bit, but...
Yeah, just go with it. Just go with it, man.
I recently just reviewed all the Pirates of the Caribbean movies on my Raunchy Review series on YouTube. So if you want to, go check that thing out on my channel. That's a little plug there.
A little plug. I mean, I got a different Pirates related video coming out soon too. That'll be fun.
Yeah, but yeah, so I figured we could kind of just find out which was the best Pirates movie out of the trilogy.
Yeah, it's a little off season for pirate talk. I mean,
a little bit.
It's a little bit, but we're both ironically doing stuff with pirates right now. So why not talk about it?
Might as well. So, I mean, we go over all the movies. So the first one, I honestly think is a straight vibe of a movie. Like, I had such a good time watching it. I think I actually watched it twice for, like, watching it for the Raunchy Review, just so I could, like, make sure I had everything I needed to on it. And, of course, I watched some behind-the-scenes stuff, but...
My first thoughts when I watched the first Pirates movie was, holy shit, this looks really good for when it came out.
It does.
Like the cinematography and camera work. Like, when did it come out? The first one? Like 2000?
I think it was 2006.
Yeah, like it looks really good for a 2006 movie.
Mm-hmm.
And up until obviously the CGI's out of date, like when you start to see the CGI, you're like, okay, it's a 2006 movie. But like prior to when that moment comes with like the undead pirates and all that, I'm like, this looks great.
Honestly, though, rewatching it, I didn't find it that distracting, though.
No, it's still good.
Yeah, like I still think the CGI is pretty solid, and the CGI just improves upon each movie.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the comedic elements work the best in the first one. Again, I feel like these movies are kind of half comedies just because they're kind of made for kids. But
yeah, I mean, it's Disney. It was based off of a ride.
Right.
And sometimes I forget about that. But then on occasion, I'm just like, oh, yeah, that's right. That was just a ride. It's like the same way that Disney makes movies based off of their other rides, but just none of them have taken off like Pirates.
It's just because I don't know, maybe it just connected with everyone. They had also... Johnny Depp.
There was just something
too.
There was just something too about the fact that it seemed like they really cared about the characters and the story for it. Like other ones, what's the one with George Clooney that came out? It was like I don't even remember. There's the Disney Jungle Cruise with The Rock too, and like it's like all those feel like really one-off shitty movies,
right?
Where it looked like they're just like, oh, let's just make a movie and it's a Disney movie for fun. We'll get some money off of it guaranteed. But it looks like they didn't have like a plan of like, how do we make this good and potentially make a trilogy out of this?
Right.
Where Pirates seem like right out the gate, like they care about the characters. The story's going somewhere. They have a plan for the story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, and the first one kind of just leaves you off at like, not a cliffhanger, but, you know, it kind of ends you off at, like, I think a good point to where you're like, all right, I want to go watch the second one now.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good point to kind of start talking about the second movie a little bit. I think the second one is not my favorite. I think I had the most fun with it, though, just because of, like, there was, like, just kind of one scene or whatever where they're on this island where they're, like, trapped by all the islanders or whatever, the tribe people.
Yeah, near the beginning.
Yeah, that was just, honestly, everything in that is just comedy gold. Just watch it again, and there's so much hilarious shit in that scene. But, I mean, the second one, I think, does kind of just jumps around a lot. And along with the third one, too. They both kind of just jump from here to there, here to there. And I think that's kind of... I think I'm going to go with the first one just because I think it just... The second and third movie didn't capture that magic that I think the first one had.
I think debatably of the best ones, I'd say either the original or the third one. I like the conclusion of the third one.
I like the third one. I think I love the final battle scene, but there's like, man, everything with Calypso can be cut out.
Yeah, it kind of can, but I really like Davy Jones. Even if he's not the best character, he just has such charm.
I love Davy Jones too.
He has his charm from just his design, the way he looks, the way he acts. And like he's so like not likable because he's a villain, but you just love him.
I feel like he's not, maybe chewing the scenery isn't like the right word, but like you can clearly tell that he's having fun with it a little bit.
Yeah, a little too much fun. And he does a little pop thing with his mouth every now and then.
Yeah, I like when he hits his pipe or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And then it like blows out of one of his little face tubes.
Then what is it? He puts out like the ashes on something too, like part of his body.
Yeah. So, I mean, honestly, some of the best CGI I've ever seen.
Yeah, really good for its time. Like, what else was really out around because the trilogy ended in like the 2010 somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Like, even at the time for that was still really good.
I mean, I guess like comparing it to like something else, I mean, I've compared it to Thanos just because that's kind of like,
yeah.
All right, this is like Thanos is like, I guess, grade A.
He is top tier comparison for like mocap CGI stuff.
Right.
Like you can see literally the pores in his skin and the stubble on him.
Right. So, and I think just because they have like the reference material for like tentacles and whatnot, I think that just kind of helps you sell it a little bit more. But yeah, so I think, what are you going with? You're going with the first one?
I might just go with the third, honestly. I just like the conclusion.
Yeah, it's honestly pretty good. I want to see where it goes next, but I feel like after the trilogy, it goes downhill from there.
Oh, yeah, it's absolute dumpster fire after the trilogy. It's awful. Everything from just the quality of it to the story of it, it all just plummets.
Oh,
it's
God.
all just one-offs that seem like they don't really have anywhere near the amount of effort and time put into it, story-wise and just cinematography, everything. One thing that bothers the shit out of me, too, is that they don't look like they bothered doing like that whole dirty pirate makeup and prosthetic stuff that they did for all the other movies. It just seems like they're just like, oh, who fucking cares?
They're like, they'll just be clean.
They'll just be clean now. They're iconic characters. Everyone knows them. Who cares? It literally just came to the point where like we know people will watch this. Just keep pumping them out.
Right. It's starting to get a little bit like that Transformer syndrome.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, even that petered out too. So, because like Transformer movies, Michael Bay ones aren't coming out anymore.
No, what are they even making more Transformers?
They made a Bumblebee movie, but
yeah, but that wasn't Michael Bay, and that was a reboot.
I know, but I figured they were going to do something with that. Maybe it didn't make enough money.
I thought it was good, but
I thought it was all right.
It was good, but I was thinking like, are we really gonna sit through another trilogy? They're not making another trilogy.
They're not making another trilogy.
Even like a reboot trilogy. It's like they're not making another reboot trilogy right now. Let's be real.
Yeah, maybe it was just a one-off at this point.
I guess. At this point, I'd consider it a one-off. I think it's done.
Mm-hmm. But we totally just got off track. So let's move back.
Don't worry,
on.
man. It's fine.
So our last thing we have to cover is Moonfall.
You still haven't watched it.
I haven't watched it, so we kind of came up with a little bit. Jonah here is going to try and persuade me the best he can to try it. He's going to try and get me to watch Moonfall.
God, how do I even describe this masterpiece?
All right, here, let me take a look.
Yeah, take a snort. Okay, so I really should have like taken a couple minutes to write this down. It's just such a complex plot with complex characters.
We can pause and come back.
No, I can. I'm gonna take an attempt at it. If it's shit, I'm cutting it out, and I'm thinking of it. So Moonfall. So essentially, we start with. Yeah, I'm gonna cut out some of the fat of the story. So essentially, the main premise is the moon got pulled out of its orbit and is now heading more slowly hurling towards the Earth. And the reason for this is because should I just do full spoiler mode? Like, should I do full spoiler mode? Like this movie, it sucks ass.
Okay,
like,
okay. You can go full spoiler, but just don't reveal the ending.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll try not to. I'll try to think of how to not to do that.
Because that will get me to watch it then.
So what happens is, again, this is not an official synopsis because it's straight up spoiler talking about like parts of the end. So like the moon has been pulled out of its orbit and it's coming towards the earth because millions of years ago, ancient humans became extremely advanced to the point where they made megastructures, which are these ginormous, technologically advanced structures that have captured stars within them that then have, again, like a bunch of like machines wrapped around it, which then is coated with a layer of organic material, which makes things that we know as moons. But anyways, hey, this is nowhere near done.
Oh my lord.
So moons, as well as other planets out there, are actually megastructures created by ancient humans. But at some point, humans, their AI turns against them. And their AI form this swarm of nanites that attack humanity for being enslaved. They go full Skynet mode. They go full Skynet. Full Skynet, full Ultron. Ancient humans, when they got so advanced, they made AI that it turns against them, and it turns into this CGI nanite swarm that wipes out all of ancient humanity. But ancient humanity was able to save at least one planet with one moon, which, well, actually, what they tell us, there could be more life out there. We don't know. But they essentially were able to save some life, apparently, because Earth and its moon stay intact until millions of years later when the AI finds them again. And it starts attacking Earth's moon, causing it to hurl towards the Earth, hence Moonfall.
Okay, first off, who wrote this?
The director was Roland Emrick.
I fucking knew it. I knew that dude, I guarantee you, he had to have smoked something and just wrote it down because this is ridiculous. Who comes up with this stuff?
Oh, that's not even the worst of it. So the worst of it, debatably, I mean, the plot itself is stupid as fuck, by the way. Let's just obviously establish that. We all know it, but there's a character in the movie. Every single Roland Emmerich movie or just any like disaster movie, there's always that one character who's this science guy who tries to warn everyone about something before it happens. Mm-hmm. There's always someone like that in those type of movies. But the one in this one, he is something else. So he makes constant just like moon and astronaut jokes. He doesn't shut the fuck up the whole movie. He doesn't shut up. And he'll also make those really topical jokes that just like don't land at all. Like they're definitely not going to land in the future watching the movie, and they barely even land in the movie. But I think the worst one in the entirety of the movie was when they're describing how they're going to take a rocket up to the moon and they're going to fix the issue up there. And one of the astronauts says, he's like, okay, we're getting funding from yada, yada, yada and SpaceX. And his response is, I love Elon.
What? That's not even good. But
just randomly out there, it's like, I love Elon.
It's kind of funny though.
It's so cringe. It's so cringy.
It's so bad.
Like even all the characters, like I know he was meant to be like a dork saying that in that moment, but like even all the characters just kind of look back like, the fuck is wrong with you?
Maybe that was their actual expressions. They were like, no way he actually said this.
That was ad-lib. Getting excited.
Man.
Got to turn my levels down. I'm getting excited.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that was my spoiler, but not ending spoiler of Moonfall. And what I was looking up even before the podcast started was I was going to look up Roland Emmerich movies for when this came up, because this man, like you said, you can name it as Roland Emmerich just by hearing that,
right?
Like that description of the movie. So Roland Emmerich movies include Moonfall, Independence Day, The Day After Tomorrow, Independence Day 2, 2012, Godzilla 1998, the one that Godzilla isn't even in it.
Absolutely. My favorite one.
We have White House Down.
Oh, God. Really? He did that one?
He did White House Down. Universal Soldier. It's probably one of the only ones I don't know of.
Never heard of
10,000 BC. Target.
I've heard of that.
Target, The Patriot with Mel Gibson, and Midway.
Midway. What's that?
The Battle of Midway. It's a historical one.
Okay.
But yeah, most of those are really par for the core for a standard Roland Emrick movie.
Mm-hmm. I bet this movie is like, what are we gonna do about the moon? The moon's falling.
It's fallen, man. I don't know what the fuck to do. It's fallen.
It's fallen, man. What are we gonna do?
Like, what are we gonna do, man? The moon's falling.
Okay. I think it's a good time to wrap it up. What do we do? How are we doing on time, actually? Oh, that's not too bad.
No, we're pretty close to about time, I guess. What are we at? What would that be, 30 or 40 minutes? Because 30 would be kind of short.
30 would be a little short.
Unless you want to keep it a little short, because it does take some time to edit all this.
Yeah, you're right. We go a little bit short this time.
All right, yeah. You take an edit?
I'll take edit this time, yeah.
Okay, cool.
All right, so that'll be it for this episode of Nearly 90s. I hope you guys all enjoyed, and remember to like, comment, subscribe, or whatever you got to do on Spotify. Hit that listen button or whatever.
Hit the likes, the listens.
Hit the likes.
I do YouTube. You handle the Spotify. So yeah, for me, like, comment, subscribe. Check out our other channels. Bryce Cherney, Joscope. Check out all of our stuff. Stay tuned for our next episode too.
Yeah. See you guys.
Bye.
Deuces.